Oh, cool.
Good morning, everybody.
Hello.
Good morning. So today we are joined by Lynsey and Max live from the sets workshop. So today Lynsey is going to give us a bit of a tour of the sets workshop. Get us in the know, let us know what's going on. It's going to be a great time. And then we are going to be watching Max do some welding. And taking a look at the set for our show and a sneak peek of some of the other sets for the other NIDA shows as well. So let's see who we have joining us today. Right now it's just me and Daniel in the chat, so that's great. But I'm sure more people will hop on soon. So Lynsey, take it away.
Thank you very much, Sib. Welcome to the Scenic Construction Workshop at NIDA here. We're very busy, and we're going to give you a little bit of an insight into what we do and how we operate from all angles, I guess, not only from the workshop, but sort of, you know, in the office and how we kind of get all of the designs together and how we work through all of the kind of construction processes, construction drawings to kind of come up with the finished product. So you'll see at the moment I'm just in my office. I'm just going to switch my camera around so you're not staring at my face. So this is my little setup here, and at the moment I'm just kind of having some inspiration right now for what we're actually working on out in the shop. So this is, as you well know, we've got a beautiful yurt that we're building for the show for Roundabout. Angus has sent us some kind of references that I'm just sort of showing you now on the screen, and that alongside another set piece, which is the apartment for Pat, and these are just some sort of visuals that Angus has given us to kind of work through. Popping back to the yurt here, we're took some of these kind of inspirational ideas, and then from that we were given some construction drawings, and those construction drawings were sent to us via Angus's AutoCAD program.
Angus is the set and costume designer.
Oh, thanks, Sib. Sorry, I didn't realise that wasn't introduced. So yeah, Angus is our set.
Angus is... A couple people don't. We'll see.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, Angus sent us through some drawings for the actual yurt itself. And from that, we have to start kind of breaking it down, working out for ourselves how we're going to build it and how that's going to kind of get taken into the venue, and then kind of constructed and fitted up for the production. So I'll take you into the workshop shortly, and we could kind of have you see what you can kind of see what Max is doing down there at the moment. So this yurt itself, we're building it out of 25mm steel. It kind of is created of a half semicircle with some roof pieces that kind of come down to these vertical uprights, and we're doing it so that everything is, if I just kind of zoom in on this one particular kind of join, we're kind of crushing the ends of the pipes and we're drilling holes out, so it kind of fits together just like a tent pole setup. So there's a spike on the end of these pipes, and then the poles will just kind of fit over and drop in on top of those. So we're going to try and keep it as simple as we can for the technical crew to bump this particular set in. So from this particular kind of construction drawing, we put together a cutting list, and that cutting list incorporated all of the, I don't know if this is if you can see this, guys, I'm sorry, my hands are a little bit shaky, But yeah, we've put together a construction drawing, and I'm sorry, Max has been working away now in the metal shop, cutting all the necessary pieces to start constructing this. We knew that the original kind of design had this kind of canvas covering on it, so we are actually going to be sewing our own canvas covering for the yurt. So what we're aiming for at the moment is just to construct a quadrant of the yurt itself first, and then once we've got that quadrant up in the workshop, we can take a pattern for the actual canvas, have it sewed up, and then create that basically 4 times, and that will then complete the full semicircle. So Angus is I'm sorry, I keep saying Angus. Max, sorry, Max. Max is Max is out there now creating this kind of quadrant for us, and then we'll get that sort of pre-fitted up in the workshop. What else to tell you about the office space? So I believe Sean may well be on the stream listening in. So welcome, Sean. I just wanted to give you now a little bit of a tour around our space. Oh, here's Florian. Florian. Oh, that's a good chance for us to pop out into the shop, because it will be nice and quiet. So we're actually on a tea break now. It's 11 o'clock. Little smoko. This is our office space. This is where all of the construction, design, and conversations happen. We'll pull in technical managers, production managers into this conference table, and this is where we can have our meetings on the big screen, pull up drawings, and yeah, work things out from back here.
Might be a bit loud.
I think Max is going to carry on beavering away in the workshop during his tea break. So just coming out now to the workshop, might just go switch the radio off. Turn that down. So, oh, here's Angus. We're just streaming live on Twitch. Angus and Josh, say hi, guys.
Hey.
Angus and Josh are our other first year scenic construction and technology students, and they're currently working on 2 other shows. Angus, which show are you working on?
Working on Lunacy.
Lunacy, cool. And Angus, and Josh, which show are you working on?
At the moment, I'm working on 6, putting some plats together this afternoon.
Cool.
So it should be good.
Cool. So yeah, as you well know, the season is made up of 6 productions. So we run all 6 shows simultaneously at the same time in the workshop, so you can get fairly busy. But just sort of panning around, you can kind of see the space itself. We've got it looks a lot larger than it actually is, because this is a fisheye camera, but we've basically got a carpentry set up down this end, so it's fully equipped with a radial arm saw that you'll kind of see over in the corner there. I'm just going to have a little wander over. So this is our radial arm saw, and then back over this way we've got our table saw. This is where we rip up all of our sheet work, ply materials. We've got a thickness planer over here. There we go. Some stock scrap. And then we've got this machine here, which is our CNC machine. This is our computer numerical cutter. This allows us to basically input any kind of program, drawing, and cut it out using the variety of router bits that you kind of see here. So this is a really beautiful machine. It allows us to do some really fabulous detailed work on ply, and that will just cut out whatever we basically program it to.
Do you have a favorite machine or tool in the workshop?
A favorite? Wow. Yeah, I think this one's got to be my fave.
Yeah.
the LCNC. Yeah, it's
cool.
just yeah, it's pretty cool. What we can do with it is fairly amazing. It requires a fair bit of programming around it. So there's a whole programming system that we have to learn ourselves, and that's part of the course. So we teach the students to do all of that kind of CAD drawing, all of the computer aided drafting. So whether it's on a AutoCAD program or Vectorworks. But the CNC machine itself has a separate program called Toolshop, and that requires a fair bit of training involved as well. But it's all part of what we teach here at NIDA, so that's good to have, especially when we know leaving here we're really trying to do is get the students up to that level of where the industry's at, and technology like this is kind of first and foremost now these days as you kind of come out into the real world. So yeah, it's great that we have this machinery, we have these opportunities for our students to kind of take on and get the training in. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. We've got a fair bit of storage kind of happening up on the mezzanine, and up here we have a lot of kind of stock rostra that we can use in different configurations for various productions if required. I know Lynsey are going to be using a few stock rostra on wheels to kind of maneuver their sets about this season. The other thing we really like to try and do here at NIDA is recycle as much as we can. We don't have a lot of storage space, unfortunately, but what we do like to kind of do is when we can is recycle flattage and sets. So this kind of storage area here is really used for us to kind of store stock flattage, and then as and when we need certain configurations or certain sort of set pieces, we can pull them out and reconfigure them for different sets. So Pat's apartment will be a great example of that. So ignore the actual scenic finish, because I know Pat's apartment isn't a stripy wallpaper, but this is a configuration of those stock flats. So Pat's apartment is going to be made up completely of recycled flats, and yeah, you can kind of see. So I just got a couple of so like kind of walking around here, you can kind of see it's made up of 1, 2, 3 stock flats on one plane, and then a return of 2. So there's a total of 5 stock flats there that we're going to make up for Pat's apartment, and that will then get scenic, have whatever detailed cornice, skirting. I believe there's like a fireplace or some description. We're yet to receive any confirmation around that, but that then allows us to basically build it in the workshop, have it scenic here, pull it apart, and then we'll take it to the venue and rebuild it in the venue on bumping day. Fantastic. So yeah, any questions so far there, Sib? Or we sort of
yeah, we have a couple comments. So we have a lot of love for Florian. Everyone was really excited to see Florian.
That's great. Where has he gone? I don't know where he is now.
We got everyone says hi to Angus and Josh as well. Daniel,
everyone's saying hi, Josh. On stream, everybody's like giving our shout out.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, how you going? A few people kind of wandering past.
Daniel Hedden says the yurt is basically just a big pizza, and he says, how big is it and could it fit in my apartment?
Interesting. Look, and who asked that question, sorry?
Daniel.
Could it fit in your apartment? It's a good question. I guess it depends on how big your apartment is. But so, well, yeah, the good thing, I guess, about this yurt, and it's a really good point to bring up, because, you know, obviously we have to think about certain backup plans for these shoots and whether or not it's something that we're going to be able to put back up into, you know, a different venue should we have to leave NIDA at any point. But if we kind of take a complete dimension across the full length of it, it's just a little over 5 meters, Daniel. So you tell me if you've got a 5 meter by, let's have a look, running this way, by 2.5 meters. If you've got that much space in your apartment, then by all means, it can go inside your apartment. And the height, I guess the height might be a bit important as well. What's the height of it? That's about 2.4. So yeah, by all means, if you want to have it in your apartment, you can. But let's get it up in the studio first, eh?
Yeah. A couple other questions.
Sure.
How long has the sets department been back since isolation, and is it nice to be back? How do you feel about being back?
Yeah, it's nice to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Max, you might want to answer this one. How long have we been back now?
Like 4 weeks, something. Pretty good. Like the first 2 weeks we were here for 1 day a week, and now we're 3 days a week. It's quite nice.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And we also have a couple questions for Max. So how long does it take to learn how to weld? Is it scary? And did you like, what is your prior experience to coming to NIDA?
Well, I have been welding for like 1.5 years now. The first time was so scary. I thought I was going to do it wrong and going to get blinded. But you just start on small things. You like just have like a normal bar, and then you can just weld on top of that just to like practice. But previously I was at high school, and we just had a welding bay and all of that, and worked there. Got taught by teachers there and a few people. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Fantastic.
But yeah, I'll be right back. Just gonna get some stuff.
Yeah, so just sort of elaborating a little bit on that in relation to how long we've been back. We wanted to sort of get back into it sort of slowly, and we sort of started coming back because alongside the digital season, we're also trying to bring up the skills base, the practical skills base for the students, and having had them been at home all this time and not really having that experience around the practicalities of the course. So we have other projects that are kind of running alongside these digital seasons, and that's like incorporated across various different subjects. So not only do we build sets, we have a whole course here on rigging, stage machinery as well. So we're actually building a cafe project alongside the digital season at the moment, and the guys have been working that on a Monday. So they come in on Mondays and have been working on the build of that. And then only up until 2 weeks ago did we start on the digital season. So we've really only had a full day in the workshop on digital season, on the actual build of these shows. This is our second day in. And I believe we've got 1 more week before we take a 2-week break, and then we're back in almost on bump-ins. So it kind of gives you a bit of an idea of just how condensed and you know, how much time we've really had for these shows. So yeah, we'll be a little bit under the pump, I think, in relation to having everything done. But we're kind of dividing up the shows between our 3 first-year students, and hopefully over the next sort of couple of weeks we can start to get back into the workshop a bit more to continue with the builds. What I might just do now is sort of take you out into the shop and show you what Mac's actually up to. I mean, I know you can kind of see him from the metal shop. I could probably take you in and give you a little bit more of a detailed tour inside there.
Yeah, we have a couple more questions in the chat for Max as well.
Yeah, cool. Go ahead.
Exciting. So, if Max is not currently on fire,
Here he is.
Love. Okay, so Max, how are you finding the sets course? You basically just started and then you were thrown into COVID ridiculousness.
Yeah, it's quite good. It was difficult to work from home when most of the course is building things, but we learnt a lot being in COVID because we practiced on all our like CAD drawings and all of that. So yeah, like it was a bummer that we weren't really able to be on COVID, like be here during COVID. But it was still good because we still learn a lot. It's a great course though. Would highly recommend.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Have you picked up any interesting skills like apart from CAD during your isolation time?
Or a few
Could be anything like
I picked up I guess being able to work in like a 3D space. So it's not CAD, but it's kind of like CAD. It's called Blender. It's a pretty good program. You can do a lot of stuff. But apart from that, no, not really. I guess I worked. I did a bit of practice on juggling, but yeah.
Oh, sick. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Oh, Jess from TTSM1 is now in the chat. She says, "Hey."
Hello.
Hey Jess, how you going?
Juggling. We've requested a juggling stream from Max next week.
Next week, sure. I'll get some practice in.
Love. I guess because I asked Lynsey, Max, do you have a favorite tool or machine in the sets workshop? Do you have a
I think right now it is definitely the welder.
Oh.
It's the funnest. But I do like the CNC and or the brad gun, which is basically like a nail gun that just shoots into wood. That's high energy. But no, I don't really. I like all the tools. They were really fun. Yeah.
Fun.
Yep.
Great. So I think Max is going to do a little bit of welding now. If you want to kind of stand by, we can get him to. I think just want to explain what it is you're actually welding there, Max.
Well, I'm going to do a little practice weld for now. What I'm normally welding is these M6 bolts to some washers, and I'll weld the tops, and then that can be the top of the camping peg kind of things for the yurt part. So yeah, I'm just welding on top, doing a few tacks, and then once I've done that, I can just put them onto the bar.
Yeah, so that was that. I think I mentioned it to you before when we had the tent poles. So basically from that, what Max is now doing is we'll then weld those to the end of these 25mm steel poles, and that then creates our tent pole peg to then secure all of the other sections of the pipe. This is our cold saw metal cutter. We call it the Brobo. That's the kind of technical term, purely because that's the name of the machine, the Brobo. But this allows us to cut steel up to anywhere up to like 100mm wide, fixed off in this jaw of the clamps. And yeah, in here as well, just to kind of give you a little bit of a tour around of the metal shop. We've got a fantastic amount of equipment in here. So we've got our own metal lathe that allows us to engineer small, fine motor parts or anything that's required for our kind of stage machinery engineering aspects of the course. Underneath this blanket here, we've got our own milling machine. So our milling machine is similar sort of setup to pretty much a similar sort of setup to the lathe, but it kind of works in a vertical motion as opposed to a horizontal plane as the lathe does. So that's our milling machine. This is our press. So The press will actually come in really handy with the yurt. We're going to be crushing the end of the steel circular pipe to create a flat finish, which will then be drilled out to take all of the tent posts. So that's going to come in super handy a little bit later. We've got a steel bender. So this is our steel bender. Again, covered up, but I can kind of sort of show you this. This enables us to kind of roll steel to any kind of diameter for any purpose should we need it. Great for when we're building revolves. And then welding wise, we're all set up for MIG welding. So these are our MIG machines. We've got 3 MIG welders. And we also have a TIG welder. And our TIG welder here is set up not only for welding steel, but we can weld aluminium with the TIG welder as well. And finally, we have here is our oxyacetylene setup. So our oxyacetylene again enables us to weld and also cut and bend and manipulate steel should we require it. So yeah, this is our kind of setup in the metal shop. I think Max is just setting himself up now to do a bit of welding.
Fantastic.
So we're just sort of stand by. I think in the meantime, I'll just quickly, so forklift.
Oh, I love the forklift. Always a fan of forklifts.
We've got some bird boxes here that we're waiting to send out. We've got there's a little project that we did at the beginning of the year for inducting all of you guys, if you remember, first year students that are kind of listening in, if you are. We've had a bit of a delay on getting them out to the habitats that are requiring them, but we're having them collected next week and we're going to hopefully get those out to where they need them. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Max, I'm just going to run up and show them.
I might do a little practice weld.
Yeah, do a practice weld, but you've got the camera there anyway. So I'm just going to...
Just quickly, we're joined by Megan Elliott from Nebraska. She's watching from the Johnny Carson Center for Emerging Artists.
Wow.
In Emerging Media Artists in Nebraska, and she says she's a NIDA fan and a Sean Stewart fan.
There you go.
We're also big fans of Sean Stewart over here.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, she said she said this is workshop porn basically, which is
that's hilarious. Yeah, well, yeah, welcome, and I'm now going to give you a bit of a bird's eye view of the workshop.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for coming in and listening in. So this is our paint floor. So we've got with inside our workshop a whole mezzanine set aside purely for scenic art. These are some other floor elements that we've got for another production for one of the digital seasons. I believe it's locked down, but don't quite. And Karen, unfortunately, isn't with us today. She only works Monday, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but this is her little kind of setup. And yeah, typical paint splattered scenic art workshop right here. Oh, this is a great example. I might just quickly show you of what we can do on the CNC machine. So these were some doors that we made up for a production last season, and then they were kind of beautifully aged by Karen. But this is just a series of like 3 layers of ply that we cut out on the CNC machine, creating all this. I think that's Max welding away down there.
Amazing. Were those was that for Emily, those doors?
Yes. Yeah, this is Amelie's doors. So we keep them just as a kind of example of some of the stuff that we can do on the CNC and some of the scenic work. But yeah, that was for Amelie. You're right, Sid.
I love that show. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
we have lots of love for Karen in the chat. Everyone says those are fantastic. Yemi the cat says this is amazing. Thank you, and Lynsey. And Daniel says, shout out to Festival Emerging Artists 2019. Yeah.
Brilliant. Great. Well, thanks for all of your comments. It's great to have you all listening in.
Nice.
Oh, I need to be careful now as I'm going to stay behind this screen while Max welds away, but he's having a little practice.
Yeah.
Nice. Look at that.
Everyone in the chat, make sure you're wearing your PPE.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Who said that, Sib? Or was that just you?
Bensley says he's not wearing his PPE.
Hilarious. All right. Well, I'm going to stand back. If Max, did you want to?
I might just do the proper ones.
Any other questions coming in, Sib, or?
Not currently. Everyone says safety first.
Nice.
Daniel said that the paint floor is his favorite spot in the workshop.
The paint shop is what, sorry?
Daniel said the paint floor is his favorite spot in the workshop.
Oh, I still didn't hear that, sorry.
Daniel said his paint floor, is his favorite spot in the workshop.
Yeah,
the paint shop. Yeah, cool.
I think
that's all right, leave it.
Too.
I can kind of get a bit of a close up here. So you've just done a couple of little tacks on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
It's good enough.
Good enough.
Be strong. It's kind of stressful in front of everyone. I did it wrong.
Are you feeling the pressure, Matt? No pressure here, mate.
Daniel says, so is this TIG welding? And what is the difference between the two?
Now that's a great test if Max wants to answer that one.
This is MIG welding. So basically, I can't exactly remember what MIG stands for, but I know that MIG is you have only one tool, and you press, and then the feed comes through the middle. So it's a lot easier than TIG. Compared to TIG, you have to have a electrode on the other side, like in your other hand, and then you have to kind of make a spark and then consistently feed it through. So it's a bit harder, but you get a better weld with TIG. Yeah.
Wasn't that technical, that answer? Do you want me to do the technical?
No, yeah, sure. Go for it. Not that good. I have lots to learn.
So MIG welder, MIG stands for metal inert gas, Sib, and it basically requires a gas source to prevent oxidation in the weld itself. So we use a gas that shields the weld as you're welding. TIG is tungsten inert gas, and the TIG machine that you can see here, that uses a different power source. So it can either be AC or DC, depending on if you're welding with Ali or steel. However, MIG is predominantly used here for us with welding mild steel. It's a much quicker, faster process, and a lot easier to learn because it has, as Max was just trying to explain, it has the automatic trigger that has an automatic wire feed that comes out, whereas TIG has a separate electrode that requires you to physically add to your weld as you're welding with the tungsten tip. So yeah, it's a little bit more difficult and a bit more expensive, the TIG machine, to the MIG welder. But we teach both processes here at NIDA. So yeah, it's good to kind of have both options.
In the chat, what was the last thing that Lynsey welded?
What was the last thing I welded?
The picture frame.
But I didn't weld that. You guys were welding it, wasn't you? What was the last thing I welded? God, that's a really good question. It was it was probably, I moved house about 6 months ago, and my new house didn't have any wardrobes, and I needed a way to transport all of my clothes from one house to the other, so I built 2 fitted wardrobes, basically clothes rails, and I welded those up.
That's fantastic. Who needs IKEA?
Sorry?
Who needs IKEA when you can weld?
Exactly. Yeah, we don't tend to use IKEA around here. We can just
Make it.
yeah, make stuff ourselves. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm just kind of thinking what else we can sort of show you here in the workshop. But I think I've pretty much exhausted all corners. One thing I might just show you, which is kind of fairly cool, as far as kind of access, you'll see here behind our timber rack is a big long kind of huge sort of slider door, and they kind of open up and allows us access directly into the back of the parade theatre. So that's a really good kind of practical part of the set. I'm just going to introduce you to Ian. So this is Ian, who's our workshop assistant manager, and he's with us at the moment building on the shows. Florian's busy working on I think, what are you working on, Flo? You was getting a lot of support earlier in the chat. Everyone was saying hi to you. Hello, everyone. I might just show you
Ian as well. Daniel said Ian has literally saved his life.
Daniel said what? That Ian literally saved his life?
Yeah.
Apparently, Daniel said that you saved his life sometime, Ian. Yeah. Not quite sure.
They say the sets department is like the Avengers of NIDA.
The set department is like the Avengers of NIDA, apparently. This is all the chat coming out of the stream.
We also have Rose and Ella from TP3 joining us. So hi, guys.
Hi, Rose. Hi, Ella.
Hello.
I was going to say, Ella, I'm going to be seeing you a little bit later so we can work through some of the six elements. But while I'm here, I might just sort of get you to kind of say hi to Josh, because he's busy beavering away on 6. Ella's listening in from GPSM. This would be, you're talking about Ella Van Dam, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so.
I'm just going to put the plans together for Jeremy's room and Kai's room.
Yeah, cool.
But, just 3 at the moment, just to see what they look like, and then some people will come over and we'll get camera angles so we can like see how much work we'll actually have to get done. Maybe put up more flats, take flats away, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, cool.
Attach them off.
Fix up all the recycled flats that we're using. Brilliant. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Sorry about the noise.
And I think just very quickly, Angus is busy beavering away on. Sorry, I don't want to distract you, Angus. But he's busy beavering away on the radio alarm saw, doing some trenching. And that's for, I believe, Lynsey. Yeah. What's Max up to? Is he still?
What Max is doing.
I'm just measuring up one of the poles that I cut. So, yeah. And then once I cut it down just to its perfect size, then I can add the pieces that I cut, that I welded, to it. And then I'll make the the poles for the yurt. So it'd be like one section done basically.
Oh, let's have a look at your drawing, Max. So this is the drawing that we're working from.
Yeah.
It's the same, exactly the same drawing that I showed you on the screen back there in my office. And what Max has kind of done, as you can kind of see here, is he's labelled up all of the various different elements of the poles and then put together a cutting list, which he can then reference from. Taking into account the length of the still, just so that we can fully utilise the full length of the pipe, and that's the kind of full length that you see there on the bench. It's like a 6.1 metre length. So that's basically how it would come in, and then from that, Max is now working through that process. Do you have an example of the crushed ends? Oh, here we go. So that's how we're going to be crushing the end.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, that, as I sort of said, is all done on this pneumatic press.
Yeah.
And it basically kind of will set up a little jig, and a jig is something that basically allows us to do something kind of repetitive nature, so it all comes out exactly the same. And yeah, you basically hold the pipe underneath here, and then using the leverage, there's an arm here, using the leverage, you basically can pull down that actual press arm, and it will squash the steel to whatever we require. And then from there, we can drill out a hole through that flat piece of steel, and then that will enable us to kind of drop it over the top of our pins. So that will then allow us to kind of set it over the top of here, if that makes sense.
That's cool.
Yeah. Oh,
I love
Florian on the forklift.
Florian on the forklift.
Florian on the forklift.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so that's basically what I was sort of trying to explain to you before. That was that kind of join there where it kind of goes over the top of each of the pins.
Yeah, I see.
Very
cool.
Anything else you want to add, Max? Are you kind of happy beavering away?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep, it's working well. It's gone well.
We might as well mention now, for the record, that we've got our very own Nick Day is going to be sewing up the canvas for the yurt. So once we get 1/4, oh, here he is. Let's go and
I'd like
say
to
hi
see that.
We found Nick Day. We
Let's
found
go
Nick
say-
Day on the stream, guys.
Let's go say hi to Nick Day.
Amazing.
He's busy talking to Ian. We'll let him finish his little conversation. But yeah, he's actually kindly offered to sew up our yurt canvas. So once we get 1/4 of it in, hi Nick.
Hi, sure.
Just talking about the yurt and the canvassing side,
yeah.
and we're just, for the record.
There's a roll of yurt.
Oh, here it is. That's the yurt canvas right there, ready for the machine. But did you want to have a quick talk about your process around the sewing of that yurt canvas, Nick?
Well, I mean, I was just using, I just thought tents, you know, so I just started designing it like a tent, like it would be for a tent. So it's a number of triangular panels that are all stitched together to form your 180-degree yurt. So panel, and then vertical, and then wall panels that sort of run around the outside, and then the detailing. I don't know if the door entrances, exit, whether that kind of detail has been sorted out yet, or whether
Good question.
What's kind of going to happen there. And I think at one stage in one of the Slack channels, I might have mentioned that we can always make an extra panel if we need to go to, 200 degrees or 210 or something to get a little bit more space for kind of reverse shots. But
We don't, at the moment, we don't have the
Watch.
skill for that, but we can,
Oh, well,
yeah, we can.
I mean, if that can
always
just be a string kind of holding it out or something.
Yeah.
Where
Cool.
the actual studio they're in only kind of just fits the yurt as well. So we're
Right.
limited with shoot off space like that as well. But I'm sure the design team and all will sort that out down the line.
And are you sewing it here,
I'm
the
sewing
canvas?
it down in wardrobe.
In wardrobe. So maybe, Sid, once we get there, we can maybe do another stream and take you into wardrobe and show you the sewing of the yurt.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love that.
That'd be hilarious.
Okay.
Thanks,
Adios.
Nick.
Thank you.
There, you heard it right here. Our own Nicholas Day is sewing up our yurt canvas, which is
Amazing.
yeah.
Everyone is, again, lots of love for Nick Day Watch.
Yeah.
We found Nick Day. Anybody seen Nick Day?
That's hilarious.
Classic question.
Brilliant.
We're having requests for more Lynsey in the stream. So who knows, maybe in a couple, next week, we can do a sets update. You can see how you guys are going.
Yeah, we'd love to do that. We'd love to share more of what we do here and give you more of an insight and update you. Like maybe we can keep this like a regular Thursday thing and come in every week and see how we're going.
Fantastic. I've learned so much in the past hour about the sets workshop, especially about welding. And it's nice to see all of our friends in the set department that I haven't seen for like, how long? 3 months? 4 months? How long have I
been ages.
For? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no clue how long we've been gone for. It's been too long.
Yeah, it's good to be back in the shop. I think we've all been feeling this isolation and far too much screen time, and you know, our passions and why we're here and why we're in this industry is to work with our hands and be physical and creative and so it's great to be back in the shop and get back into our groove with that.
I would say that TTSM is probably the most suited for online learning, but when we were in like lockdown, I was definitely like feeling for you and props and costumes and all actors and stuff, because it just must have sucked so much. Yeah.
I can't imagine acting in front of a screen.
Yeah.
It's been horrible.
Yeah. I mean, I think you asked the question earlier to Max, like what has he learned through the whole online training, and you know, we've tried to keep the curriculum running through these times and brought certain aspects of different classes forward from next semester. But I think what this has enabled us to be able to do is really kind of hone those skills around the kind of management side of our course, because you know, we're not predominantly just set builders. We don't just, you know, work with timber and steel, sorry. We you know, we're using lots of other skills in relation to those kind of management skills, the construction management, how you do everything from working out construction drawings to schedules and set breakdowns. And that's predominantly what we was working on just recently for the cafe project, and we're only now starting to get into the workshop to start building. But I think it's really improved. I mean, I've sort of seen the improvement in just those kind of skills around that, you know, the kind of paperwork involved behind all of these projects. So it gives them an opportunity to kind of skill up on their construction drawings, their CAD programs, their management skills and all of that. So I think it's been a really useful time as well for us all to kind of take stock and look into that side of the course, because it is just as important to, you know, not only knowing and understanding how to build something, but physically, but you know, how it kind of all happens from a the other side, the design side. So yeah, that's fantastic.
And I'm looking forward to this year's cafe project. I loved the people shop from last year so much. I came to the presentation. It was amazing. It was fantastic.
Yeah, this year's going to be exciting.
I'm really excited to see what you guys do.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah.
Well, we're
Are
definitely
we allowed
gonna.
to say what we're gonna do, Lynsey?
Well, I was just thinking that whether or not we disclose it now, or if we hold
I
back
think
and
I think we should make it a surprise.
yeah, maybe. And it will definitely be displayed out in the foyer for everyone to see and have a play on. So yeah, it was great kind of streaming. I'm more than happy for you to keep Max on in the workshop. I am actually gonna sort of sign off, I'm afraid, Sib, because I've got other bits and pieces to do for 6 and other shows.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Lynsey. This has been seriously awesome.
Yeah, it's been good fun. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And as I said, anytime you want to come back in and do some streaming, I hope Sean's been listening in. If he hasn't, then there'll always be another opportunity to get him back into the shop too.
Yeah. Sounds good. Thank you, Lynsey. Max, what are you up to at the moment? Max has just dropped out.
Oh, has he dropped out? Yeah, I think he was.
Okay.
He's back.
Sorry, I just lagged out. I've only used like 800 megs of my Wi-Fi.
Oh damn.
My
Okay.
data.
Well, in that case, why don't we wrap it up for now? I don't want to use too much of Max's data.
No, that's okay. I mean, I'm happy to kind of keep that streaming if you want to swap over onto my hotspot.
It's all good. Be fine.
Yeah. Well, let's. I think you've had a fair bit of insight. Happy for you to kind of jump in next week and see where we're up to. And
oh yeah.
Yeah, great to have you. And I'll go back through all of the messages and thanks everybody for your time of coming on.
Yeah,
and
thanks guys.
Checking us out. Really appreciate it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, so much love for you guys in the chat. You guys are amazing. Absolute machines. You guys are troopers. Fantastic stuff. Cool.
Right.
So I guess we'll wrap that up for today. Huge thank you to Lynsey and Max and all of our special guests, Josh, Angus, Nick Day, Ian, Florian, of course. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. It was amazing.
Right. Thanks, Sib.
Okay.
See you next time.
We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.
Guys.